7:37, good morning. It's Greeley Nissan Morning Drive, News Talk 1310, KFKA. Guest on the line with us, Brian Watson, founder and president of North Star Commercial Partners. Brian, we've had you on the show plenty of times. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Wonderful. I'm glad to be on.
I love talking to you. Again, we get to talk about a variety of things. As the founder and president of North Star Commercial Partners, you have your finger on the pulse of a lot of different things that are happening in the state, and we're grateful to tap your expertise and glad you'll share it with us. Investments is our topic this morning, and that's kind of wide-ranging. You want to narrow that for us? What's the specific focus we're talking about with investments this morning?
Well, the Colorado economy, specifically, in the Denver metro area north, is doing much better than it has in a long time. But, I wanted to talk about VC money this morning, if we could. It's been interesting to see. There's been a lot of venture capital money coming in and investing in Colorado companies. Last year in 2014, there was $910 million invested in these companies, about 112 transactions. And these are smaller startup companies that are getting their legs under them that will hopefully employ a whole lot more people as they go down the road. Already in the first quarter of 2015, there's been about $115 million invested in these companies, and I think it may have a very dramatic effect on an ongoing basis in a positive way.
Venture capital is injecting a lot of money. How much of that, Brian Watson's with us, North Star Commercial Partners? How many of those dollars would be considered some local money? Is some of that out of state? Maybe is any of that international money, or do we know? Can we know?
Well, Colorado has actually suffered over the years because we really haven't had a very strong venture capital community on a local basis who's grounded here. There were several groups that were out there for a while, and unfortunately, with the economy and everything, they were shut down or moved onward. But a good amount of this money is money that's coming from out of state, and that's being injected into our companies, and I think that will have that dramatic impact on jobs that will continue to grow.
Well, one of the funny little secrets about business is that so much of the population lives on either coast, right? So the East Coast has got plenty of money. They see an opportunity here. We're coming here, not necessarily East Coast, but we're still in big terms sort of flyover country. But we're gaining. We're really doing well, don't you think?
Well, we are, and it always has bothered me, that statement, when you meet those people from the coast that, call the rest of the country, the flyover states. I just think it's so pompous of them to be able to call us that. But I will tell you that the plane is stopping in Colorado more often, because Colorado has moved. I've seen it on the real estate side as an example. At one time, we were a third-tier state. Then we moved up to a second position, and now we're a top-tier state where people want to invest their dollars. Colorado's economy and the outlooks for the future are very positive. Sadly, though, not the entire state has felt the uplift with regards to the economy. Denver and the northern communities are doing much better than places like Colorado Springs and Pueblo and frankly, obviously, even the Western Slope. But I think if we can begin to fire on all cylinders, not only VC money going into smaller companies, but also our energy industry, oil prices are now on an upward tick a little bit. I was with some gentlemen last night. They feel that it's going to be up over $90 a barrel coming here in the coming year. So it'll be very interesting to see that impact.
Yeah, Brian Watson's talking to us, North Star Commercial Partners, talking specifically about venture capital investments in the state. I'm so with you on the oil prices. That was just a blip, and it's there's always boom and bust. So that wasn't of great concern for me, but I didn't have to crunch the numbers on that one. You mentioned some of the other areas of the state. There's a bill, and I can't tell you which one it is, and we don't have to talk intelligently about that specific thing. But how about tax incentives? There's something in the legislature about maybe some special tax incentives for Pueblo and or for Mesa County. What's your do you think that's a good thing? Are we robbing Peter to pay Paul? Give me your thumbnail sketch on big tax incentives like that.
Well, I'm a big believer that when the government can reduce taxes overall and to make it a more fair playing field, I think that's a positive thing. I think we spend way too much on taxes and we overburden our companies, specifically small entrepreneurs just trying to get started. If, however, you're taking tax dollars and then taking those dollars from one group and going and investing into another group, that's not always a positive thing to do, because you're penalizing the one group just because they happen to be doing well. So I guess I would like to have, our legislature truly be positive and open for business by helping to reduce regulation, helping to reduce the tax burden so that people can go out and create true opportunity in their communities.
But I wonder when those expire. I think there have been some examples of some tax incentive businesses that came in and stayed the length of their tax incentive and said, we're going somewhere else now. So, long term, short term, it sort of can be beneficial. And you said it best, Brian. Brian Watson's with us. Straightforward, just good basic taxes, lower taxes, stay out of the way of private enterprise and let that take care of it. I paraphrased and then added to what you said. Sorry about that.
Well, you did a better job. I've owned some assets, though, in states across the country where they have a lot of the tobacco money and all these other things. And those companies will come in, they'll benefit, and they'll use those incentives. And then as soon as those incentives are gone, they'll jump across the state line just as quick as looking at you. Yeah. And so, we really want to have companies that are committed to Colorado, that want to grow roots in Colorado. And I think by having an overall fair environment versus this roller coaster ride of, 1 year in one legislature, it's this incentive, and another year it's something else. I think just be consistent, make it a business-friendly environment, and be open for business.
One final question for you. Brian Watson, the founder and president of North Star Commercial Partners, with us on Greeley Nissan Morning Drive. Do you have is there any reticence? Is there a holdup? Is there anything holding back any more investment in Colorado, or are we doing pretty well?
I think we're doing pretty well. Overall, I think one of the things that's going to start affecting us is the unemployment rate. We have a very low unemployment rate right now, and as companies decide where they want to locate, they want to make sure that a state not only has the infrastructure, but the people and the education and training to be able to operate those companies. And so that's going to be something that I'm starting to look on the horizon to say, how sustainable is this on a longer-term basis? We have a lot of people moving to the state. There was over 80,000 people last year. And so, the more people that move here, the more congestion you have on your highways and your infrastructure and everything like that. So there's a lot of good things happening, but we want to make sure that we keep the wheels on the bus to be able to continue to create opportunity. That's
a big challenge. We get the economy going really well, and then there's some pressures in different directions. Brian Watson, always love your take on what's happening in the community. Hope we get to talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Brian Watson is the founder and president of North Star Commercial Partners. Good to get his take on a variety of business issues. Good to have him as visiting expert from time to time. We appreciate that. 7:45. It's Greeley Nissan Morning Drive. Let's go to the Sports Flash. We'll be back in just a moment. 1310 KFKA.